Hello everyone, it's Gold Gear. As you may have guessed from the title of the video, today I will be talking about MediEvil, a game that holds a special place in my heart. It had a big impact on me when I was a kid, due to its unique atmosphere, gameplay, music and sounds. As a kid, I often watched walkthroughs of this game, but unfortunately I did not play it myself. But I played a reboot of this game for PSP, called MediEvil Resurrection. That game was quite different from the original, and worse in many ways, but it also had quite a few good ideas. We will talk about the reboot another time, and now I want to discuss the remake of this game, released in 2019. Unlike the reboot, the remake was faithful to the original, but despite that it also fixed many of the problems the original had. So now I will review the remake and compare it to the original. Let's get started. I think we should start from the story, because why not? There was a kingdom called Gallowmere, where everyone lived happily. But there was a guy named Zarok, who was the court magician, and did some dirty experiments on the dead, for which he was banished. He became very enraged and wanted to take over the kingdom with the help of demons, but was eventually defeated and killed by the brave knight Sir Daniel Fortescue, who also later died of his wounds. Well, at least that's what history tells us. In reality, everything was a little different. Sir Fortescue only became a knight because he caught the king's attention with his false stories about defeating dragons, and when it came to the real battle with Zarok, he was killed at the very beginning, and did nothing. He only became a hero because he had a good relationship with the king, who announced after the battle that Fortescue had killed the evil sorcerer. So yeah, Daniel has become Gallowmere's greatest hero undeservedly. After Zarok's army was defeated, the kingdom lived in peace for 100 years. But then, the sorcerer returned. With the help of magic, he stole the souls of the townspeople and resurrected the dead. Along with all the dead, Sir Fortescue also comes to life, and now he has a chance to save the kingdom and prove that he deserves to be called a hero. Before Daniel sets out on an adventure, he must equip himself with the necessary items, such as a sword, a magic potion, and a shield, of course. Fortunately, everything you need is in his script. By the way, Dan's script is one of the shortest levels I've ever seen in games, but it serves its purpose well, so I'm not complaining. After you get out of the crypt, you will have an entire kingdom to explore. Each level in this game has a very unique mystical and spooky atmosphere. There are cemeteries with zombies crawling out of the ground, cornfields with violent scarecrows, a town full of possessed people, dark forest overrun with shadow demons, and more. All levels are well thought out and memorable, and almost every one of them introduces new enemies that you can slay with your weapons. MediEvil is a hack-and-slash adventure game, so there is a lot of combat, but don't worry, you will have many melee and range weapons in your arsenal to protect yourself. Most weapons have two types of attacks. The first is usually quick and weak, and the second is stronger, but needs to be charged up first. Some weapons have secondary uses, such as the club, which can be set on fire and used to burn haystacks that might contain sacks of gold. I really like that some weapons are useful not only in combat, but also for solving puzzles and finding secrets. In addition to weapons, there are shields that can protect you from enemy attacks, and also make you look cooler and more stylish. But how do you get these weapons and shields? Some of the weapons are found in chests, or available from the start of the game, like Dan's arm. Yes, his arm is a real weapon, and it's hilarious. However, you will get most of the weapons in the Hall of Heroes, a place where heroes from history spend their time drinking, feasting, and arm wrestling. You can get to the Hall of Heroes at the end of almost every level, if you collect a chalice. Chalices are usually well hidden in a level, and you have to kill a certain number of enemies before you can take it. This is a really good idea, because it motivates you to explore the level and gives you a reason to kill a lot of enemies. So, every time you enter the Hall of Heroes, many heroes will constantly remind Daniel that he is not a real hero, and humiliate him in every possible way.
You're just not carved from hero material.
Although they don't like you, they will give you some gifts for your efforts. Mostly you get new weapons, but sometimes they give you gold or potion bottles. But what is the use of gold and these bottles? Well, with gold you can buy ammo for your ranged weapons, and other stuff from the greedy merchant gargoyles, and these bottles just increase Dan's health. I strongly recommend that you collect all these potion bottles, because remember that there are no checkpoints in this game, so if you lose all your health, you will start the level from the beginning. All the characters in the Hall of Heroes have different personalities, and it's always interesting to hear what they have to say. The voice acting for them is amazing. In fact, all the voice acting in this game is amazing. Other Ocean, the studio who created this remake, reused all the voice clips from the original game, except for Daniel and the narrator. I think it was a smart move, because I doubt anyone can outdone this guy.
Some say it is better to have a magic sword than a magic shield, but I say to use it, this is rubbish!
In addition to chalices, there are many other interesting things to find and collect. For instance, almost every level has runes that you need to find in order to open locked gates. Or there is a witch talisman that you can use to summon witches, who will give you quests to complete. For example, a forest witch will shrink you and send you to an ant's nest, so that you can find pieces of amber for her. However, my favorite items are in the sleeping village, because not only do you need to find them, but you also have to make a crucifix out of them, which you then have to take to the church. There are also optional items to find, such as a music sheet that can be brought to the Phantom so that he can play a different tune. Now let's talk a little bit about the puzzles, because this game has quite a few of them. My favorite is in the Sleeping Village, because as I said before, you have to find different items and then figure out how to use them to make a crucifix that should be placed in the church. If you place it there, you will get a key that you must use to unlock the safe in the mayor's house, where the shadow artifact is hidden. By obtaining this artifact, you will then be able to open the gates to the Shadow Demon's tomb, which is located in the Enchanted Forest. There is one more puzzle in that tomb, which I think is actually the worst one. You have to step on the plates in the correct order, but you don't know which order is correct, because there is no hint. So it's just trial and error. There is also an entire level dedicated to puzzles. It's a level in a maze where a big stone head on the wall with beautiful stop-motion animation gives you puzzles to solve. They are mostly simple, but still cool. For example, you have to surround the clown with smiles, or scare the elephant with a mouse. Alright, let's get back to the story. After a long journey, you will finally reach Zarok's castle and fight a menacing, scary, and funny villain. After the fight, Zarok dies, and Daniel escapes from the castle with the help of a giant bird. All souls will return back to people, and all the dead will die again, including our protagonist. Daniel will return back to his crypt and realize that he has become a real hero, and can now rest in peace. After that, he will finally be accepted by other heroes into the hall, where he will feast and have fun until the end of eternity. What a great ending. Now let's talk about some of the differences that the remake has. The developers improved dance movement, which was really jerky in the original, but now is smooth as butter. Camera issues have also been mostly fixed, and platforming is now actually fun, and you don't have to constantly worry about falling into the abyss. They also added the ability to equip 2 weapons at once and switch between them using triangle, which is really convenient, because in the original, if you wanted to change a weapon, you had to choose it from the inventory, which was annoying and a waste of time. Most of the bosses have also been changed, and are now much better. For example, the Pumpkin King now has stages, and actually provides some challenge, whereas in the original, you could just shoot him from a distance and kill him in 10 seconds. One of my favorite additions is the Book of Gallowmere, where you can look at all the characters you've encountered and read interesting facts about them. I love when games have stuff like that. The developers also added these lost souls. Towards the end of the game, you will find a chest that will release souls if you open it. These souls will be hiding in every level, and it's up to you to find them and help them finish what they couldn't do in their lifetime. For example, you have to defeat all the ants, or kill the fish when they jump out of the pond. Players who take the time to complete each Lost Soul challenge will unlock the original MediEvil game in the main menu. Honestly, this is one of the best completion bonuses I've ever seen. So, the remake is great, and it fixes a lot of the problems the original had. But does it have problems too? Unfortunately, yes, and quite a lot, to be honest. The camera is too close to Dan for my liking, especially on levels like Pumpkin Gorge. There is also this over-the-shoulder view, which I think should have been an aiming feature, but it isn't. You can't aim your weapons in this game, which can be frustrating. For example, if I want to hit this explosive chest with my crossbow, I can't, because Dan automatically targets the enemy. Another problem is that if you want to enter this over-the-shoulder view, the camera locks you behind wherever Dan is facing, and not where the camera is facing, which can be a little inconvenient. The camera as a whole has been improved, but still there are places where it is far from being perfect, and it can cause some problems. Dan also doesn't have a landing animation after jumping while running. Yes, it's really nitpicky, but still I wanted to show you this. Also, the animation is a bit unpolished at times, and it's quite noticeable. Alright, now let's talk about the music. MediEvil has one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard in a game. Every track fits the level perfectly and creates amazing atmosphere. Just go and listen to it, it's magnificent. I honestly don't know which soundtrack I like more, the original or the new one. I probably prefer the newer one, because it sounds more magical to me. So, MediEvil is exceptional. It has its flaws, and there are quite a few of them, but there are many more good things for which this game deserves to be loved. I really like the story. Yes, it's simple, but unlike other games of the PS1 era, where you just had to save your girlfriend and defeat the villain, in MediEvil the story is more personal for our protagonist. The unique, gloomy atmosphere will grab your attention, and thanks to the excellent level design, you will not get tired of the game. There are a lot of nice details in this game too. For example, merchant gargoyles will eat your money after you pay them, the chalices you collect can be thrown off the table and kicked, and different weapons have unique particle effects. I also want to acknowledge Sir Dan's amazing design. I mean, look, he has no lower jaw and only one eye. He looks really unique and iconic. So, if you haven't played this game yet, I strongly recommend that you get it. If you liked this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Don't forget to leave some comments too, I would love to read it all. I am Gold Gear, thanks for watching and stay gold.